It's me, it's Wrestling Figure Legacy. I'm the guy behind the voice, making my on-screen debut to show you guys my brand new collection setup. I've worked quite a bit of hours on this. I've installed new light bulbs, custom lighting under the shelves, reorganized everything in a sensible way, had the risers put in, and most importantly of all, as many of you collectors share this pain with me, I dusted, and dusting is integral in making your collection presentable. So I had that all taken care of. That's the reason why I haven't really shown this off yet, because I was waiting until I really redid it. And I was also waiting for Elite 51 Scott Hall to complete the NWO setup I have. Anyway, I'm ready today to show you guys my collection. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I hope you like it. I have things organized by generations on shelves and all this other stuff. Before we get into that, though, in my custom arena, a little bit of background about me. I've been collecting wrestling figures since I was, I think, 10 years old for my 10th birthday. I got into wrestling through the Super Nintendo WrestleMania arcade game. I love the idea of beating up a clown. That sounded fun. So I played the game and I became obsessed with it, and I started watching Raw, BCA, Bone Crunching Action, Undertaker, Mankind, Bulldog, Brett, Owen, Shawn Michaels, a couple more guys I think, for one of my birthdays. And little did I know that was the beginning of this borderline obsession. I'm not too bad, actually. You might be surprised that I don't have as much as maybe some people would think a wrestling figure channel on YouTube would have. So beginning with Jakks BCA, going through Titantron Live, R3, Ruthless Aggression, collecting on shelf for Classic Superstars. This at one point was Classic Superstars. Finally, you get to Mattel. They took over in 2010. Hope you guys enjoy, and as a side note, hey, I am so grateful for your support for this channel, everybody. I never expected this to blow up the way it has. Thank you so much. You'll be hearing more about this in the future as things continue to grow. So yeah, thank you and enjoy my collection. So today I'm going to give an off-script tour of my collection, and these three shelving units you see, the second shelf and the bottommost shelf, I have multi-tiered placement so I can actually fit everybody on the little custom staircase there. You can see the bottom shelf is my modern guys, pretty much everyone of the last 10 or so years, guys and gals, who I wanted to buy a figure of, but they didn't really belong with the Attitude Era guys or the 80s talent, which you're looking at right now. Up front, I have factions, so I have DX, Hart Foundation, and then the NWO are on the far right. In the back will be anyone from the New Generation, Attitude Era, all the way through the Golden Age in the 80s. I got some talent there too. There's my Defining Moments poster. I love that thing. I got that in a magazine. And this is the literal top shelf. This is the cream of the crop, the best and most significant or most impactful wrestlers of all time. I wanted to give them their own space, not obscured behind other people on, in the shelves in the back. So I wanted to give them their own marquee position in my collection. So we're gonna kick things off today with the modern talent on the lower shelf. You can actually see them in the back there because I installed that lighting. Lighting is actually fairly inexpensive if you know what you're doing and you get like the LED strip lights. Just make sure you get the right light color, because these lights are a little warm for my taste. I wanted a little cooler lighting, but it does the job and it brings them out from the shadows, which is the important thing. We'll look a little bit more in depth at some of those guys in a minute, as I've said, but up front here is some of the more notable talent that I have that I wanted to put in front so they'd be easy to see. You have Samoa Joe, Bayley, New Day, who I have posed. They've only fallen a couple times. That's pretty good. Seth Rollins with the WWE Championship. And that Finn Balor is incredible. I love that figure. It looks really good on the shelf. It's a really interesting piece. Custom AJ we'll look at. For right now, though, here is one of my more recent figures. I actually picked this up at a friend of mine's bachelor party. We went to Dave & Buster's, and I found Becky at a nearby Toys R Us. A little odd story there. But moving on, here is the New Day in a victory celebration pose. Big E and Kofi are holding up Xavier Woods. And I repainted Xavier's trombone to be a shiny gold with some gold spray paint. I highly recommend doing that because it's pretty easy and it makes things look much better than that matte gold color. And let's take a look at Big E's expression. That is one of Mattel's more emotive faces, I guess you could say. I love that face. It's hilarious. Reminds me of Bayley, which is why I put Bayley right next to him with her happy yelling scan. And here is John Cena, All-American John Cena with the United States Championship. This is my favorite Cena with the camo shorts. I think that's Cena's best elite. The McMahon family right here, Triple H in gold with Shane and Stephanie McMahon. I still don't have a Vince. I don't know why they don't do Vince in a suit. Here's John Morrison, Elite 4. I love this figure. It's one of the early elites. Not actual fur, but no. Faux, not fox. Faux fur, for you guys out there who corrected me. There's Seth Rollins with the WWE Championship. My favorite Seth Rollins Elite, probably.
Cesaro, I still only have, what is that, Elite 23, I think, Cesaro. I love that figure. It looks great. Good colors. Chris Jericho, basic. I think his basics look better than his elites, so I chose to go with that one with the Elite 20 glow-in-the-dark jacket. And AJ Lee. People don't really talk about this figure that much, but I think it's one of my favorite female figures. I love the plaid color on her gear. I thought that was a good look for her. And there's Beth Phoenix. Bonus Beth Phoenix, one of my favorite women athletes. Here's Regal from Elite 8. I love this figure. I think it's the perfect William Regal. And I posed him alongside of Christian from their 2009 ECW heyday. Good stuff. And here's a good look at Finn Balor in demon form. What a figure this is. You have to actually look at the back to get a pretty good grasp of all the detail that is actually in it. It's from that Japanese special they did where he won the NXT Championship from Kevin Owens. Really cool figure. And speaking of Japanese, here's Asuka with her crazy detailed attire. I can't imagine how many deco hits this thing took to produce. It's probably a very expensive figure for them to make. Really like that. And there's AJ Styles. I actually souped him up with the old Toy Biz TNA AJ vest. Thought it was a good fit for him. I love this blue attire. Gave him some knee pads too. I just wish this wasn't elite. Why didn't they make this attire elite? It's such a good attire. Remember the Shield? I'd hope so if you watch modern WWE programming because they beat you over the head with it. That won't take away the Shield being an awesome faction though, so I definitely want to include them on my shelf, along with that Screaming Roman head, which they never really use. And here's my boy D. Bryan. Definitely wanted to have a space for Daniel Bryan. I love those attires from 2011, 2012. I think that was his peak point as far as gear goes. And here is D-Generation X, X-Pac, Road Dogg with custom elite arms, Billy Gunn, and Triple H, all in neon green. I wanted them all to match, and I finally got the figures to do it. And here's Shawn Michaels in his entrance gear. This is from that Elite WrestleMania 30 set, I think it was. I love this figure. This attire, the chest hair detail, the scan. Look at that face. It's not a scan, it's a face mold technically. Look at that mold. That looks just like Shawn Michaels from the event. And this was a personal dream figure of mine. It's D'Lo Brown with the chest protector and the European Championship. I can't believe they made this figure. I'm so happy with it. It's such a great likeness to him. Really one of my favorites in my collection. Here's some Harlem Heat. Definitely want to get some WCW tag teams in there since they're so few and far between. Chris Jericho with an Intercontinental title from the Attitude Era. Entrance greats. And here's DDP. I customized his head, gave him blonde hair since he was ginger for some reason, and the abdominal tape. Ric Flair, you got to put the world title with him. And you have Sting with the trench coat. 1997 Starrcade Sting. The 1997 Hart Foundation is why I'm here at all. This was my group. These were my boys. I loved the Hart Foundation in 97. One of the best factions in wrestling history. Here's British Bulldog with the cut-off Hart Foundation jacket and European Championship. And here's custom Owen Hart using Kenny Dykstra's head from Jack Pacific. And I gave him 2 Slammies. I found 2 Slammies in the wild, spray painted them gold like Xavier's trombone, and put them on the pedestal that came with Bruno Sammartino, so Owen can give a perpetual Slammy speech, which I wish he could. Bret Hart with the Winged Eagle Championship. Bret Hart is my all-time favorite, and to have a 97 Hart Foundation version of him is surreal to me. I love it. It's from Defining Moments 5. Here's Wolfpack Sting in red using Edge's jacket from Elite, I think 13 or 14. Here's Outsiders Kevin Nash from Elite 16. Cost me a pretty penny back in the day because I only found the Diesel Wave. Repainted his hair blonde because I felt it looked better. And who else alongside him other than Scott Hall, red and black Scott Hall, one of Mattel's best figures ever. Perfect application of chest hair, the new head mold. It's fantastic. And alongside him is Hollywood Hogan from Storm Collectibles. Look at those detailed boots. Just look at this figure. It's so great. He comes with the Elite 16 Nash's World Championship I put on him. And here's the rest of the NWO. Got Kurt Hennig, and then you have the Giants, and then ringside NWO Randy Savage, black and white NWO Savage. I love this. I got this for price when it came out, so good deal there. And here is Christian with the mesh shirt, another one of my favorites, alongside of Edge. Tag team champions right there, one of the best tag teams of the Attitude Era. Here is the recently deceased Bobby the Brain Heenan with Arn Anderson, fellow Brainbuster, and Kamala, one of Mattel's best figures right there too. Legion of Doom, and I gave them the Jax shoulder pads because they frankly look better. As RVD with a custom head swap. Diesel, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, alongside yet again Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon in purple. Well, technically like a dark pink, but nevertheless. There's the Godfather with a repainted gold necklace. Speaking of gold, right behind him is Goldust. Classic era Goldust with the ringside Goldust exclusive Intercontinental Championship. It's a little big on him, I admit. And here's Kane holding not a can of Pepsi or a water bottle, but a voice synthesizer module or whatever that was. Figure's really sought after and it's really awesome. Speaking of which, Cactus Jack as well with the Titantron Life 4 vest from Ringside Collectibles, and I gave him a little barbed wire bat down there. There's Lita with a mesh shirt. I love this figure. It's one of the best female figures they've ever made. It has the thong, all the details you'd want on Lita. It's a really good likeness. And here's Yokozuna. This is Legends 2 Yokozuna with a custom, unrelated Japanese flag, along with the checkerboard pattern robe that came with Elite, I think, 15 Yokozuna in red. It's a massive figure. Just look at him. And here is Eddie Guerrero with the European Championship alongside a bouquet of flowers meant for China. All right, we're moving on to the final shelf, the top shelf, and starting out with Amazon exclusive Mankind with the straps and the boots and the actual flesh color on the mouth. This is definitely the superior version of the two old school Mankinds. And here is the Elite, I think 23 Undertaker in all purple. New generation Undertaker, gotta have him. He was one of my first figures. Alongside this one, Shawn Michaels based on SummerSlam 95, and I replaced that awful head mold with that one right there. Here's Hulk Hogan, an essential name in wrestling history. That's why he's on the top shelf. Alongside Randy Macho Man Savage with that robe. He didn't come with that. It's from the Freebird set. And this is Ric Flair from his retirement match. A really cool figure. And Edge from Hall of Fame with a repainted beard. That's a really good Edge with the camouflage tights. And then finally, British Bulldog and Bret Hart. On the far end there, representing the early to mid 90s. Behind all of them is a CM Punk shelf. I'll just briefly go through them. ECW Punk, post ECW Punk when he won his first championship. That one's supposed to be the heel 2009 Punk on SmackDown with the beard. There's Punk from the Money in the Bank. There's Hitman Hart Punk when he turned heel again. There's WWE Championship Punk, and there's Final Punk with the sideburns right there. And that's the collection. All three of these humongous shelves full of figures. I don't have much room for any more, so luckily I'm feeling kind of complete with these. But that's not all, because beneath these shelves is the next thing we're going to look at, which is my custom arena. I just redid this, dusted it off, which it sorely needed. Here's the ring with the Raw is War ring skirt I got from Ringside Collectibles. Pretty fair price for that. And here's the steps. I repainted those silver to make them shiny alongside those gratings there. There's the announce table that came with Shane McMahon, another semi-recent figure as of this video. Here's the ring. I kept the ring skirt off because I like the all-black look. It reminds me of the old Monster ring that came out after the red, white, and blue one. So let's take a look at some of the areas surrounding the ring. There's Dave Bautista's hot take on Baron Corbin. There's the gravelly kind of cement texture spray paint I used on wood to create that look surrounding the ring. And here's some of the signs. I made all these signs aside from the ones that were clearly made by Mattel. Punk 316. That Randy Savage, I didn't make that painting, but I found it online. It's a really nice painting of Savage. There's my Jax 2009 sign that I would totally actually bring to an event. Will You Stop is a reference to the recently departed Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Thank you, Bill, for that D-Lo Brown. I made you a hashtag. Happy Chinese New Year, Bret Hart. If you don't know what Chinese New Year is, watch my Controversies video. That's Dan Reichert's big ol' head. He's from GiantBomb.com. He asked for a Waluigi amiibo at WrestleMania on a sign, and he got one. So that's his story. And there's my ring. You can kind of see the general look of it. I just use it for display. It's just a nice way to make some cool figure photography. This is the Elite ring that came out. I got it at Big Lots for $23, which was a steal. There's some steel grating there. And to match the Raw is War theme, here's Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, and Vince McMahon from that era. I threw an entranceway together just to have it, but other than that, thank you guys for watching. This is Wrestling Figure Legacy. Please comment, like, and subscribe to see more, because more is on the way.